What's up, everybody, and welcome back. It's the NBA fanatic Johnny P, and we're still talking the 2015 NBA draft. This time we're talking about the number 9 pick, the Charlotte Hornets, which is my second favorite team. I was hoping they would do a little bit more with their pick than what they did because I wasn't entirely impressed. They went with Frank Kaminsky out of Wisconsin. It's a 7-foot tall, 240-pound center who took his team pretty far into the tournament this year. However, I'm not feeling it. To me, I'm not going to say this man's going to be a bust by any means because he hasn't played an NBA game. However, sometimes I see players who play extremely well in college but just don't have the game to translate to the NBA. And I kind of see that with him. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope he brings a lot more to this team because the Hornets have been making some major moves in the last week or so, acquiring Jeremy Lamb from the Oklahoma City Thunder and Nicholas Batum from the Portland Trail Blazers. There's some big moves, and with Big Al down low, who I don't necessarily know if the Hornets are going to stick with him just yet or not, or if they're going to try to get rid of him and try to clear up some cap space. But either way, we have some pieces, especially getting rid of Lance Stevenson, who I believe went to LA. But I'm really excited that they are making positive moves. But with this pick, I don't know if Frank the Tank is someone that would fit real well on our team. And one thing I didn't know, though, is after they picked him, Facebook was going off on their Facebook page, on the Hornets page, because there's a lot of hardcore fans saying, we don't want you either, we don't welcome you here, and all this other stuff. And I was like, what is this about? Like, they just picked this man. He hasn't even played a game in a Hornets uniform yet. Like, what do they have against him? So I did a little research, and we went on Google and typed it in, and I found a quote that Frank had said, that Kaminsky said about Charlotte in particular, the team that just drafted him and just turns him into an instant millionaire. Something he said a couple years back. Now, this is not saying this is a reflection of how he feels today. This could have been a slip-up, just him not thinking. I don't know, but this is an interesting quote. And as a fan, I can understand why this would be in your mind, and it would kind of bother me too, I guess. He ended up saying, and I quote, "I know the NBA has their crazy fans and all, but if you look at all their games, there are games where teams like the Bobcats get hardly any fans, and it looks flat out boring." Kaminsky wrote on his blog, "At the time, at the Kohl Center, we play in front of nearly 17,000 fans every single time we step on the court. When we travel, we play in front of sellout crowds who absolutely hate us," and then blah, 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 blah. But it's interesting to see that this college student goes and picks out an NBA team and singles them out. And it just happens to be Charlotte, the team who you say you respect and love, the greatest player of all time, Michael Jordan, and you kind of disrespect his fan base. And that kind of upsets me. I personally, as a GM, even though he said this a year or 2 years ago, whenever it was, even though he said that then, I don't know if I want this guy on my team. And one thing that I've been kind of debating with and struggling with lately is, if I'm a college player and I know I'm good enough to make it to the NBA, I'm extremely happy with whatever team decides to pick me up, because I will play my heart out for that team because they're giving me a shot and I'm accomplishing my dreams. It just seems like a lot of players these days want to pick and choose where they go. And I don't understand that mentality. I'm not of that. However, like, whatever, I'm not going to judge it, but I don't know if I would draft a guy when there may be other better suited players on the board. Now, mind you, this is number 9 pick, so there's only 8 other players that have gone before this. There's still plenty of talent left. I think I would have explored other options, but that doesn't mean that Kaminsky isn't going to be good for the Hornets. I really hope he learns to step up and proves his defense. They say he's good at hitting threes from outside. I didn't watch Wisconsin too much this last season, but I believe what I hear. I'm guessing the guy's shooting pretty well from outside. He has something to bring to the court. I'd like to see him learn off of Big Al, though, a little bit and contribute to this team, because we have pieces now that may make us get to the playoffs. They may sneak in as a 7 or 8 seed, or possibly even higher, depending on how much chemistry this team has. So I'd really hate to get hung up on something like this, but it is something that, as a GM, as the owner of a team, I would have looked into a little bit more and really sat down with this man and said, you know, you said this about our fan base. This isn't like him targeting one of the, you know, higher up powers of the Charlotte Hornets. You're talking about your fan base, the people that are going to come out and support you. So if these people aren't feeling you right off the bat, I don't know how successful your career in Charlotte's going to be. I really hope that he starts getting out in the community, doing stuff for Charlotte area schools and organizations and charities, and maybe he can kind of build his way back into the hearts of the fan base. But up until then, I'm really curious of what's going to happen, but who knows? But that's the number 9 pick by the Charlotte Hornets. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for giving me support on these videos, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.